Hello, everybody, and welcome to ULT. It is Wednesday, the 16th of April, and this is my report. Today was a rough day for me. It wasn't that the strategy didn't work. It's all execution. It's execution. Can you execute your plan or not? Today was not a great day in terms of execution. So let's go through it. Before we do get started, though, of course, you know what to do. If this information is useful or you just want to hang out and see what's going on, be sure and hit the subscribe button, the bell notification, all of that. All right, into the charts. I've marked out on the charts here all of our valid entries. It was another kind of a choppy day. There were some good opportunities, but the opportunities kind of came quickly. You had to be watching them and be kind of quick. So I'm just going to go through these pretty briefly, and then we'll pop my executions on the chart and you can see what I did. So the market, we start the morning coming in just flat, nothing at all really going on, a very tight opening range. And so when we first break the open range here, we pop down and we rest on the red line. I would consider this a valid entry. Typically, I said the red line isn't valid until an hour after the market opens. However, because price didn't really move any differently in the first 15 minutes than it did prior to the first 15 minutes, then, there's really no reason not to trust the red line. It sits right on it. We get a huge bounce up. We come down. We do get a green line entry. This is more of a C type entry because although we do have a high, recent high, we have a smooth pullback. We have kind of this consolidation at the peak, though, which is something that I don't like. Sometimes it doesn't matter, sometimes it does, but that reduces the overall probability that we're going to get a bounce back through that level. So we do get a bounce. It goes right back up to this high, if you'll notice, just a couple ticks above it, and then rips back down. We come back down to the gold line. This is not technically a valid entry because we do have a pivot. We do have a broken pivot. Winds up just a little bit, drops down to the red line. I do have this marked as a valid entry because it's a relatively smooth pullback. We do have these kind of real small bumps on the way back, but nothing too dramatic. And so I do mark that as a valid entry. It's a little bumpy, but it would have worked. From there, we push up, we come down. I mean, had this bounced, it would have been valid from the green line perspective. Well, maybe not. 1, 2 candles of space. No. It would have been valid, I guess, from the gold line perspective. We have 1, 2, 3 candles of space, but price just falls through, so it doesn't matter. We come down here, a push back up. Of course, the first touch after a cross of price crossing the lines like this, generally pretty good. And that one works out. We have a low, we have a pullback to the green line. This is a short opportunity. It would have, depending on where you had your stop, you might have got stopped out here, but price does come back down after consolidating for like 10 minutes. Kind of a long time there. Oh, we drop down here, push back up. This one, a real clean, really clean green line entry here with a nice bounce. We do come back down, and actually I should have this marked here. I'm going to go ahead and mark this. This would technically be a valid entry just because it does give us, we do technically have the 3 candles of space. Oh, actually, hold on. No. See, I'm second guessing what I marked before, so let's delete this. This is not a valid entry on the green line. I was about to call it a valid entry that failed, but it's not a valid entry because it's not a smooth pullback. We have a high, we have a low, it pushes up here just a tick or two and then pulls back. Not smooth pullback, not a valid entry. We do get a valid entry back here at the red line. You could have got this, this green line entry, or this gold line entry rather, here was not valid because we have a broken pivot right here. This one's not marked on my pivot. The pivot indicator, the swing indicator, didn't catch it, but this is definitely a pivot that got broken as we pulled down. So not a valid entry there, but we do get a nice bounce off of the red line right here and pops up. Really, that's it for the rest of the day. Price just kind of consolidates, wobbles, and then it's the end of the time frame here. So those were the valid entries. Let me pop up what I did and we can take a look. All right. So you can see I did get suckered into this trade here, which failed. And then I took this trade here, which failed. So we're not great. And I think I was going in 2 contracts a piece on these two. So these were kind of big losses. But I kind of hung with it, and I did take this red line trade. And I took it for a 20 tick, I think, or more profit. So stuck with it, I guess. I really wish I would have sat out these 2 questionable entries and taken this one. This was really choppy. This was a nervous trade to be in for me. If I hadn't been in these 2 others, it probably would have been less stressful, but that is what it is. Didn't get into this one. I got into this, and the reason I didn't take some of these was because I wasn't quick enough to get my orders in. Other ones, I maybe just decided to sit out. No real reason not to get into them. From here, I did get in here. And it kind of wicked around. I was lucky. I had my stop up above this candle because this was the candle I got in on. I did not use this candle as a stop. If I had used this candle as a stop, probably would have got stopped out. It came, within a tick or 2 of my stop and came down. So, that was fortunate. And I took this winning trade here. This one actually I took on the 30-second time frame. Where's this? 940. So if we jump over here to the 30-second chart and we go back to 940, take it off of there. 940 shows all the copied trades, so it's very noisy. So let me fix that. Let's go markers only. I got in off of this. We had a low, we had a nice pullback, and I got in here to here, just a quick scalp. And the reason that I switched over to the 30-second time frame is sometimes, this looked like it was a nice pullback, but I saw that it wasn't coming back to the 1-minute green line, and so I jumped over the 30-second chart. So maybe lucky, but it was valid on the 30-second, so I took it. Up here, I went ahead and got suckered into this guy here, even though it was an invalid trade. So ultimately, I took a C setup, an invalid trade, which is this is the frustrating part. This is the execution part. You can have the perfect plan. You can have the best plan in the world. But if you don't follow it, if you don't stick to your plan, I heard a Mark Douglas, the famous trading psychologist coach. And he said that when you go to trade, the time for thinking is done. Your thinking should be done during your back testing and developing your plan. Once your plan is in place, there's no thinking involved. You just execute your plan. Clearly, that did not happen today. If I could take back the losses from the trades that I took, which were not good trades, it would have been a really, really good day. I did take this red line trade. And you can see I continued to trade. So this is the other part. And some of them were wins, right? So, from here, I was taking a red line trade, late red line trade, and I got stopped out, but I got back into it after we got this nice reaction here, got a little win. But again, it's the win just makes up for that one loss. So it's, are you really gaining any ground here? I came down here, I got in here for a win. We didn't touch the green line. So I got rewarded, I think, for taking a less than perfect trade. And here we are. I take an invalid green line trade, right? Choppy pullback. I got in late and I get stopped out. Ironically, if I had got in at the right time, this would have worked. I think we had 15 ticks. So we could have got 10 ticks in that little green candle if I'd have been in the right place, but I got in at the wrong place, got stopped out. Of course, that's very frustrating. Boom. And a candle right up to the top. So, things like that really mess with your psychology. Took another green line trade that failed. Took a gold line, or this is a green line trade. We don't really have space, but we are kind of trending up. Middle of the day, price is slow, it works. So we're kind of like 50-50 trading here. A win, a loss, a win, a loss, a win, a loss, a win, a loss. And I think that's all that I did in gold. I did go over and I traded in NQ, and we had wins and losses in NQ. So I'm going to go ahead and show you the net result here. I want to show you two things. If I can pull them up here real quick. I thought I had this up. Here we go. All right, so here's the trade performance summary for just gold. Okay, I want to show this first. The trades, I think this is right. Yeah, this should be right. Long trades, average trades. Where's my... Okay, so this is all trades. So net profit, $150 negative. So I was negative, but barely negative, $150 after being up and down and up and down, and it was just horrible. Now this total number of trades, the way that this does this is it counts each contract as an individual trade. So it wasn't actually 20 trades, but some were 2 contracts, some were 1 contract, so a total of 20. So that's the gold numbers. Okay, so that's how gold worked out. Again, my execution was crap, but it was still, it wasn't, it wasn't a bad, horrible day. However, my results in NQ were far less favorable. So here's the actual P&L on my PA accounts. Kind of ugly, down, almost $2,000 in each account. So we'll see. These accounts might die tomorrow if we don't have some good luck. We'll have to, we'll adjust our risk accordingly and take the trades. If the accounts fail, they fail. Hopefully they don't. We'll see. But that's what it was. So that was the day today. Again, if you want to see how tomorrow turns out, subscribe. Hit the bell icon so you get notified when I release tomorrow's update. And we'll talk to you later. Bye-bye, everybody.